Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I'm so happy you're here. Today I'm showing you the process of how I created this art journal page in my handmade journal. This is according to Kasia's Soothe Me Art Journaling prompts day 4. She asked us to put down some watercolor and then kind of take it off with a wet watercolor brush, which is what I did, creating these little triangles. And prior to filming, I had outlined the triangles with a Faber-Castell Pitt pen in sepia. Here I'm just adding some Stabilo Woody. I have this tissue that is already kind of colored with inks and sprays in the same colors that I'm using here in this page. So I decided to cut out some triangles from the tissue to add in. I like to glue down anything that's tissue with a fairly runny glue, and this is just Mod Podge that I use to stick down the triangles. Now I'm going to put some paint colors into this little palette dish that I have and use a sponge to apply the paint to a foam stamp that I made just with some more triangles on it. The sponge gives me kind of a mottled effect so I can see the different colors of paint. The colors I'm using are Titan Green Pale, Quinacridone Nickel Azo Gold, Nickel Azo Yellow, and Phthalo Blue Green shade. Those are all golden brand paints. I also have a Paper Artsy Fresco Finish paint in Green Olives. Kasia has been including a Soothe Me Art Journaling self-care prompt with her art journaling prompt, and for this day, day 4, it was to tidy up your room or a space that you spend time in. So I thought I'd put a quote from Marie Kondo's book, The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up, into this journal page. And I picked one out of her book. It kind of just fell open to this page where it had this quote, "Believe what your heart tells you when you ask, does this spark joy?" In order to get the quote into my journal, I didn't know exactly how I was going to do it, so I tried to plan it out in advance in a separate sketchbook. The square that I drew is about the same size as the amount of space I have allowed for myself to write in my journal, and it gives me a good idea of how the words are all fit together on the page. I thought I would use the white gel pen to just write it out underneath my paint, but that didn't seem to be working out as well as I thought it would, so I just decided to wing it with the paint. I'm using some matte acrylic from Blick in Celadon to paint my letters in, and I guess one of the reasons why I sketched it out first and planned it this way is that I'm not really used to brush lettering with an actual brush and acrylic paint in my art journal. I'm kind of new to this process, so I did give myself a little bit of a dress rehearsal with the pencil and my sketchbook, and it worked out well. I feel like I had confidence painting the letters in, and that I wasn't going to ruin my art journal page that I had just spent a long time prepping with that background. And you may be noticing that I'm kind of going back over the letters with paint. Once the paint dries, it was kind of fading into the background a little bit. And the whole idea that I had behind using acrylic paint with a paintbrush for my lettering was so that it would be a little bit messy, a little bit off, not perfect, typewritten type lettering, but more painterly and fun looking, I guess. I see a lot of artists use a paintbrush with paint to write in their art journals, and I really like the way that looks, so I was giving it a try and seeing how it would go. I decided to paint the heart in with a really bright colored pink that I love. It's that Luminous Rose by Holbein. It's a Holbein acrylic. It is pretty translucent, so I'm kind of going over it several times. That background is kind of showing through underneath. And I end up adding another color of acrylic that's a little more opaque on top of the pink. This is a Matisse. It's Salmon Gum, and it's more opaque, but it also adds a kind of dimension to the heart that I really end up liking. And now I'm kind of going over some of the lettering again with that Celadon matte acrylic, giving the tails or the letters that were underneath the heart a chance to come out on top. Hoping to kind of refine my letters, help them stand out from the page and look a little more structured, I use the Faber-Castell Pitt pen in sepia to outline each and every one. With my quotation complete and my letters outlined, I'm looking at the page and realizing I'd like to put a border around it. I used colors that I had used to paint the letters and the heart to make little triangles around the edges. And I'm just randomly placing these, painting them in, using first that Celadon matte acrylic. I hope you enjoyed this video, and thank you so much for watching. If you like what you see and you want to see more, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. See you in the next one.